Hi guys, welcome back to another project analysis. Today we'll be talking all about One Marina Gardens. So here's my QR code which links to my WhatsApp. Through this, you are actually able to get bounced out units, information, market opportunities and also good deals like that. So you can just scan my QR code over here. So today's scope is actually broken down into 9 simple parts. So starting off with One Marina Gardens is actually previewing very soon, 29 March. It will be previewing from 29 March all the way to 8 April and booking day will be on the 12th of April. So if you guys don't want to miss this out, do remember to come down for this show flat. Starting off first, One Marina Gardens is actually in the Marina South area. So take note that it's not in the core central region. So One Marina Gardens, starting off with the artist impression. So you can tell that clearly it's facing Gardens by the Bay. Very nice view. Okay, but bear in mind that this good view is not seen in every unit type over here. So now starting off with the project information, the basics, okay? Project name, One Marina Gardens. In short, we call it OMG, okay? So developer is Kingsford. I think most of you have already heard of them many times. They are actually a very reputable developer. They were the ones who actually developed Normanton Park and the latest one, which is Chuan Park at Lorong Chuan. So this is located in District 1. There is a total of 937 units, of which there are 2 blocks. One is actually Block 3, where there are 30 stories, and then there is Block 5, which is 44 stories. But of course, on top of that, there is actually sky terraces for you guys also. This is a residential with commercial shop at the first story. Take note that it's not like your Parktown or like your Pasir Ris 8. It's not an integrated development, it's more of a mixed-use development. So parking lot-wise, there is 445 car park lots and 24 motorcycle lots. So I think we can tell clearly that the car park lots, right, is literally half of whatever units there are. But because we are actually located right next to the upcoming Marina South MRT station, so this is actually very convenient. And furthermore, I'll touch more about the unit mix later, and you guys will understand that actually 445 car park lots is actually more than enough. Okay, so the estimated date of vacant possession is on the 30th April 2029 and the legal completion is 2032 April. You can see that One Marina Gardens is actually located over here. This whole thing, right, is Gardens by the Bay. Pretty sick views to be honest, but it actually doesn't really matter because this very nice view actually come from the more premium units like the 4-bedroom lah. Majority of the unit types here are coming from the 1 and 2 bedder, which means that the demographics here, it will be more of tenants lah. So views wise, it doesn't really matter. For OMG, One Marina Gardens, I'm actually not going to sell the view here. It's really a lot more about the rental yield. Okay, not like view doesn't matter, but over here for OMG, rental yield actually plays a crucial part for your purchase. Now for your location map, right, coming into detail, this is where we are located at. So as you can see, right, we are actually right next to the upcoming Marina South MRT station. So the MRT station itself actually is already there, but the train is not operating yet. So it will only start operating once this project actually TOPs. So here is how it looks like, bird's eye view. Okay, you can see that we are very near to Gardens by the Bay. We are also near the MBFC, Raffles City, town area, the CBD area lah, basically. So coming to the location map over here, we are actually located over here. You can see over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? These are actually government land sales that are already being reserved for redevelopment. And then you can tell the rest, right? These are actually white sites. With that being said, right, with OMG actually located right next to these white plots, what does it mean for us and how does it actually benefit us? Okay, so these are the 3 subtopics that I'm going to be talking about regarding the location map, which is, so what if we are the first out of the 16 plots that are going to be launching, right? What about first mover advantage that everyone is talking about? Let's say we are located next to white plots, how does it actually benefit us? Coming to white plots, right? What does white plots actually mean? So you can see over here, this is actually a screenshot from the URA website. So you can see that if let's say it's zoned as white, right, it means that there is actually a flexible land use under the Urban Redevelopment Authority, URA in short. So one very good example is actually Marina Bay Sands. So for Marina Bay Sands, right, you can tell that there's a casino, there's shopping mall, there's entertainment, and there's also offices as well. So why being surrounded by white plot is beneficial for us when we are located right next to it for OMG, right? It's because first of all, you have more amenities and convenience. So for white plot, like I said, there is a different use, there's mixed use, okay? So you literally have all these within your fingertips. And then second of all, there will be a demand for rental, and third of all, there is actually room for capital appreciation. Diving into the Marina South New Township, like I mentioned earlier, right? So this is actually the vision that the government has for this area. They call it the Marina South Township. You can see, right, we are located over here. Okay, then this is the vision that the government will actually foresee lah. So there will actually be retails, office, hotels, and residential projects that will take shape. And Marina South will actually be projected to be fully developed as Singapore's next luxury residential and business district alongside the Marina Bay. So this is actually very attractive for the people who are actually working near this Marina Bay area, and I will touch more about that later. So for this Marina South New Township, right, you can see that is what we call a 10 minutes neighborhood, because like I said, all these are actually within your fingertips. You have your key amenities like your supermarket, your food courts, and even childcare as well. And there are also essential services such as your convenience store, bakeries, you want to go and see doctor also can, go and do your hair also can, and also student care services. Okay, so now coming to the site map, there are actually two blocks. Block 5 being the more premium one because there are actually more amenities over there. And then there's Block 3. Block 5 has 44 stories and Block 3 has 30 stories. So for here, why do I say that Block 5 is actually the more premium block, right? It's because the facing is also nicer lah, the view. Here is actually Gardens by the Bay. So if you guys want to have a clearer picture on what you will actually be buying into, if let's say you were to buy One Marina Gardens, you can actually WhatsApp me and I can send you the e-brochure for OMG. Okay, so now coming to the unit mix, there is a mixture of 1 to 4 bedrooms. However, do take note that the majority actually comes from the 2-bedder. So with that being said, right, this is why I mentioned earlier that rental yield plays a huge part if you were to buy something like One Marina Gardens. Now coming to the more in-depth analysis, what is so good about One Marina Gardens? I think if let's say a lot of Singaporeans, especially if let's say they hear the word Marina, they're really very scared. They'll be thinking confirm very expensive. For today non-central prices, right, you can see that for Katong, people are already accepting the prices at $1.33 million, Toa Payoh, $1.41 million, Lentor, 1.37, Woodlands, 1.05, and Jurong somehow, someway they managed to get at $1.68 million. So these are actually the non-central prices for the 1-bedroom. People are actually already accepting $1.29 million for a 1-bedder. So if let's say we were to do a fair comparison, how much should a 1-bedder in the central area like Marina actually cost? Today, our starting prices for One Marina Gardens is actually starting as low as $1.16 million. The question is, why is something at Marina Bay so cheap? So by right, for this kind of location, who are the main source of buyers? Is it the foreigners or is it the locals? Foreigners. For foreigners, they actually have a restriction, or rather a challenge if they were to buy a property in Singapore, which is the 60% additional buyer stamp duty tax. So 60% is actually really very high. So by right, if let's say you're the developer today and you're supposed to sell to the foreigners and they actually cannot buy that easily as compared to the locals over here, as a developer, I would be worried lah. So if let's say you're worried, what would you actually do to the price? Would you try to hope and sell high, hoping that the foreigners will actually overlook this 60%? Or would you actually price your units here very cautiously, in a way whereby the price is actually very affordable for the locals to buy as well? So this is when first mover advantage comes into place. So first mover advantage is not for the buyers actually. It's not only for the buyers, but it is also for the developers as well. So remember earlier I was saying we are actually one out of the 16 plots that are going to be developing. First mover advantage actually plays a very crucial role, especially in a new township like this. Because we are the first to launch, this means that there are actually a lot of uncertainty because there is no benchmark that is set before us. We are the first, literally the first to set this benchmark for everyone after us. So which means, right, the price in this area are actually being untested. So as a developer, as a seller, right, will you actually be scared to be the first one to be launching in this new area where prices are being untested for? So of course, the developers, they don't want to be stuck. That's why they need to make it a point whereby the prices here are actually very palatable for the buyers in the area. Say now, example, if you have a confident seller and a cautious seller in front of you, which one would you rather go for? Would you go for the confident or the cautious seller? I will go for the cautious seller because they know that if prices here are being untested, they have to be cautious. Just like any other buyers out there like yourself, if you are planning to buy into a new area, right, you also have to ensure that the price that you are buying at is not too high. So the seller, which is the developer, have to ensure that the price is palatable so that it can sell well. If not, the developer will be stuck. We actually have a very, very good example. Before Marina South New Township, there is a very good example which is, as you all can guess, the Lentor Township. If you guys are actually looking at the market, right, there is this new township called Lentor Collection. It's launched since 2022. The first one was actually Lentor Modern. Okay, so out of the 5 plots, Lentor Modern, Lentor Hill Residences, Hillock Green, Lentoria and Lentor Mansion, Lentor Modern was actually the first one to develop in this new township. And if actually you go and do a good comparison between these 5, right, Lentor Modern is the sort of the best project out of these 5. And because they are the first, right, they actually sold at 84%. And as you can tell, out of these 5, they actually sold the best. They sold at 84% on launch day. It was the first project of the new township, and it was also closest to the MRT as well, just like our current situation now, where OMG is the closest to Marina South MRT station. And then you can see over here in red, right, Lentor Mansion sold at 75% on launch day. Why is that so? Even though it is not the first, Lentor Modern is the first, right, it was still able to sell at 75% because it was the first project to be a harmonized project. As you can see here, there's actually a trend. Projects with a first mover selling angle, they tend to see stronger demand and faster take-up rates. Bringing us back to One Marina Gardens, there's actually a lot of similarities between the Marina South New Township and also the Lentor New Township. So clearly both are new townships, and Marina South is also a multiple GLS land plots, just like Lentor as well. Okay, and then same thing is it has integrated developments with residential, commercial and also lifestyle hubs. Okay, so you can see here, right, for OMG, we literally are the first of everything. Not only we are the first to be here, we are also the first harmonization project, and we are also the first to have direct access to the MRT station. Thumbs up. So this is actually an article from Straits Times. I pulled this out from Straits Times back in December 2022. You can see here, right, developers and buyers will have first mover advantage as the first site in the Marina South precinct is to be offered for sale. For owner-occupiers, they will actually benefit a lot from the CBD area, and whereas for investors, they can actually tap into the tenant pool. Okay, so now coming to tenant, why do I keep talking about rental yield just now? I'm going to start off with the 1-bedroom rental yield first, followed by the 2 and the 3. So for the 1-bedroom, I'm going to just take the best location one, which is Emerald of Katong. So you can see, right, for Emerald of Katong, the Katong area, okay, this is just an average, right? You can see that the average rental price is about $3,200 for the 1-bedroom. And then for the Marina area, for the 1-bedder, I took the sale as an example. We can see that the Marina area average is about 4.7k. Okay, I never take the highest, I take the average. If let's say I'm going to be comparing to OMG, right, I will be using these past data as a comparison. So now we can see that for OMG, right, there is an estimate price that's already being done and accepted at $4,700,000 at the Marina area. What does it mean for the buyers then? Okay, what does it mean for for you and for your future buyers as well. So when you were to buy an area here at the OCR, I'm gonna take Lentor, Katong and Toa Payoh because remember earlier I mentioned the prices over here. You can see Katong. Okay, I actually take the OCR prices over here. Okay, so if let's say here right now you were to take the buying price of $1.3 million for a one bedder, okay, and then you were to rent it out at $3,200, there's actually a rental yield of 3%. Okay, then afterwards, if let's say once you're allowed to sell already, say example you have a $200,000 capital appreciation, your rental wouldn't jump that much because rental price is really all depends on the market. You cannot control that. You can't push it up to as high as like 5k, 6k, right? So rental yield I just put the same, but your price I increased to $1.5 million. You have a rental yield of 2.5%. Now for One Marina Gardens, you can see here that the starting price is $1.16 million. But for today's comparison, I'm just going to mark it up higher at $1.3 million purchase price, which means at 3.1k per square foot lah. So actually for 3.1k per square foot, you are looking at about mid to high floor already, or either that you just have a very bad Q number lah, okay? So I'm just going to use this price first. Your rental is about $4,600 per month. You have a rental yield of 4.2%. Same thing, have a 200k capital appreciation. Rental also never changed. You can see that your rental yield is at 3.7%. Why am I actually sharing this, right? Because next time, if let's say you were to sell to future buyers, you will definitely be selling to the people that are of the same profile as you, which is you want to sell because you want to get the rental from there, right? So future buyers will actually do their homework first before they put their decision into somewhere. They will go and see, how much rental yield can I actually receive from this particular development. So if let's say they were to go to this, right, they will realize that the rental yield, okay, this part where I'm circling, right, the rental yield only 2.5%. Now if I were to do a fair comparison at One Marina Gardens, rental yield at 3.7%. As a future buyer, which one you think is easier for the future buyer to accept? So if you're an investor yourself, right, which one would you choose also? Would you choose the 2.5% rental yield, or will you choose something higher at 3.7%? So these are the kind of questions that you have to ask if you were to buy one bedder or two bedder in areas like this. Okay, so now coming to the 2-bedroom price comparison, this is a brand new project. I'm not going to say what project it is, okay, but this is a brand new project located in the east. You can tell, right, that this is a galley kitchen, which is an open concept kitchen, okay, and then it also has one bathroom. Okay, so this is actually a 2-bed 1-bath, a new project located in the east. So you can tell here at 667 square feet, right, the price that is being accepted there, I'm gonna take the average, right, is about $1.987 million. So now comparing this east side project 2-bed 1-bath to our One Marina Gardens, what is actually the difference? So you can see here this east side project, right, 667 square feet already being accepted at $1.987 million. But then if I really break it down, right, for this east side project, you can see that the actual usable space is only 58 square meters. But for One Marina Gardens, this is a harmonized project. The actual usable space is 61.5 square meters. For a 58 square meters usable area, people are already accepting the prices at $1.987, close to $2 million already. Here at One Marina Gardens, if let's say you were to get a very good price at 2.8 per square foot, you're only buying $1.867 million for more usable area. Say example, you buy mid to high floor, or example, you have a very bad, not so good Q number lah, okay? Say you have a not so good Q number at 3,000 per square foot. You are buying 61.5 square meters at $2 million. So even at 3,000 per square foot, you are only paying $2 million for a unit here in this location. Based on this price here, right, I want to show you guys if the price actually makes sense or not. So coming to the 2-bedroom rental yield, over here, this is the Ori. If you guys are already familiar, this is located at Toa Payoh. So the average price for a 2-bedroom unit here at the Ori, right, which is in Toa Payoh, is already at $1.84 million. The average rental in the Toa Payoh area, okay, this is not ORI. Of course, ORI is not being done yet for the rental transactions, but once again, I'm using past data as a comparison because the prices there are already being accepted. Okay, so the average price here for rental is, we are looking at $3,880 for a 2-bedroom rental per month over here. So how much can a 2-bedroom in ORI actually fetch for their 2-bedroom rental? It's uncertain, but once again, I'm using current data when analyzing future prices in the Marina area. So you can see here for 2-bedroom Toa Payoh, right, you can see one average price at 1.843 million, and the rental per month is about 4K, which gives us a 2.6% rental yield. Now, versus One Marina Gardens, when I buy a 2-bedroom here, right, at $1.95 million, okay, I mark up again, okay, we can see here 2-bedroom is starting from $1.8 million, but I'm just gonna mark up at 3K PSF, which gives us a purchase price of $1.95 million. So with a purchase price of $1.95 million for a 2-bedroom here, the average rent for Marina area is at $6,400 per month. So this actually gives us a rental yield of 3.9%. Now, if let's say you were to compare as an investor point of view, okay, as a future buyer's point of view, which one will then be easier for you to accept? Definitely the one with the higher rental yield. So now same thing, I'm going to do the comparison like I did for the 1-bedroom scenario. Here you can see for Toa Payoh, $1.843 million with 4K rental per month, you get 2.6% rental. Same thing, 200K capital appreciation, you will only get a 2.34% rental yield. Now bringing us back to OMG, from a 3.9% rental yield plus a 200K capital appreciation, okay, if let's say you were to buy it at $1.95 million and you were to sell it at $2.15 million, that means the future buyer will be buying at this price. Rental yield, rental price once again cannot be marked up too high. It really all depends on the market condition. So I'm going to put it still the same at $6,400. Your future buyer actually have a 200K capital appreciation with 3.57% rental yield. So the outside area, people are already accepting at this kind of prices. So next time in the future when they want to resell, right, the investors, they will also need to be able to accept the rental yield in the future as well. So it doesn't mean that, oh, they are able to buy it for a very low price, but they will actually go and also do their homework and check out how much is the rental yield. If the rental yield is not as attractive, it will not be something that is in a consideration lah. Okay, so that's why if let's say we compare it this way, OMG is attractive in terms of the rental yield for a investor's point of view. So now coming to the 3-bedroom price analysis. So this is the 3-bedroom dual key layout in One Marina Gardens. So this is actually the 2-bedroom. Okay, this is actually 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom. If let's say we were to combine, right, just now I mentioned that the 2-bedroom rental per month is about $6,400 in the Marina area. And for the 1-bedder, it's about $4,000 plus. So if let's say we were to round up, okay, I'm just gonna take $11,000. Okay, it's easier for today's purpose. Your rental per month is about 11K. Okay, but there's a point as to why I'm gonna say this. Okay, so for example here, if let's say you were to buy it at, once again, a very high PSF, if let's say you buy at mid floor, high floor, or you have a very bad queue number at 3,000 per square foot. Okay, so I take this square footage. Okay, take this square footage, I times the 3,000 per square foot, you actually get $2.9 million. If I buy at $2.9 million and the rental is at $11,000, the rental yield is actually at 4.5%. Okay, so how did I actually get this 4.5%? To calculate rental yield, I should have said this earlier in the start, okay, but just for your information, to calculate rental yield, you just need to take the rent per month times 12, okay, then the whole thing you divide by the purchase price. Okay, so in this case, I took 132K divided by $2.9 million, and that's how I got 4.5% rental yield. Even if let's say next time, okay, even if I want to resell to the customer at 4% rental yield. So even if I need to resell to the next customer at 4%, I actually just need to resell at $3.3 million. So if you sell to the next buyer at $3.3 million, the rental monthly is still the same, the future buyers still get a rental yield of 4%. Okay, this is actually a very good amount already compared to the areas outside. Okay, rental yield 4% is very, very good already. So why I need to address this, okay, is because next time, once again, we are going to be selling to investors as the future buyer. Rental yield is something that they will be looking at. So these are actually very important factors that you have to consider if, let's say, you were to buy a unit here in One Marina Gardens or maybe in this area in general as well. This is the reason why the developer put the bulk of their units in the 1 and 2 bedder, because your demographic will be slightly different in this area. There will be a lot of tenant who is choosing to stay nearer to their workplace. If they were to work at CBD or the Marina Bay Financial Centre area, they would rather just stay somewhere really near, whereby everything is within their fingertips as well. With that, we have come to the end of the project analysis for One Marina Gardens. Once again, the preview date is on the 29th March to the 8th of April. If let's say you were to have any personal questions that you would like to ask before coming down to the show flat, feel free to drop me a WhatsApp. My number is in the description box below. Till then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!